Hi everyone, this is Allison Banksness and this is my simulation proposal. My simulation is titled Hooverville, and for those of you who are unfamiliar, Hooverville is a term that was coined during the Great Depression. President Herbert Hoover was in office, and a lot of people who lost their homes and lost their farms had to set up kind of shanty towns in the cities, and they were nicknamed Hoovervilles because a lot of Americans thought that President Hoover was doing very little to help anybody during the Great Depression. So that is where the term comes from. So Hooverville simulation is going to stem from roughly about 1929 to 1934. So students are going to be able to explore the causes of the Great Depression and then be able to see kind of firsthand how the Great Depression affected American citizens. So there are going to be, I'm going to scroll down in my proposal here. The Minnesota State Standard that I'm looking at is there are numerous causes and impacts of the Great Depression and the New Deal. And the students are going to have 4 major content objectives that they are going to successfully meet after finishing the simulation. The first one, students will be able to explain the main causes of the Great Depression. They'll be talking about the stock market, farm failures, bank failures. Students will be able to provide specific examples of how American families were affected by the Great Depression. So they'll talk about Hoovervilles and unemployment and the loss of their savings, the loss of their homes. Number 3, students will be able to produce a flow chart describing the domino effect the Great Depression had on America and internationally. So it's important to note that the Great Depression didn't just affect the United States. Yes, we saw the brunt of the effects, but internationally people felt it. And so it's important for students to know that too. Number 4, students will be able to describe the purpose and the effect of FDR's New Deal. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But as I scroll down, this is kind of how I have the simulation brainstormed in my idea. There's going to be 4 parts to the simulation. The first one is a prologue, and students are going to be learning about the Roaring Twenties and what was society like before the Great Depression hit. Part 1, they're going to look at the different causes. Part 2 is the effect and the survival, and then Part 3 is the New Deal. So throughout the simulation, students are going to encounter different decisions. And they're going to have to use their problem solving and their decision making skills to decide what exactly are they going to do in each situation. And every student's outcome for the simulation is going to be different depending on the decisions that they make and also the example or the characters that they are going to be able to play. So over here on the left, I kind of talked about different example characters that they might be. They might be a 13-year-old that lives on a family farm, or they might be a housewife, they might be a farmer, they might be a banker, and that's all decided right away in the beginning. They get to choose their different characters, and so the students would be able to play this multiple times, choosing different characters so that they could experience what the Great Depression was like for a 13-year-old farm boy or for a 40-year-old stockbroker with a family. And so here are some of the questions and things that you might be asked throughout the simulation. Whether or not you want to take all of your money out of the bank or you want to keep it in there. If you're late on a loan payment for the farm, what are you going to do? What are you going to do next? If you don't have enough money to pay all your bills, which bill are you going to pay first? So those are some experiences that you might have during the Hooverville simulation. I do have some visuals that you would definitely see throughout the simulation of Black Tuesday and the stock market crash, Hooverville's right here, unemployment, the Dust Bowl here. And a lot of my idea comes from the Mission US simulations that my students play already. And so I imagine that the simulation would be set up just kind of like this, a prologue and then the different parts. And then down here you go through your simulation and then you have questions and you have different answers to choose from down here. So the goal of the simulation is that students are becoming more engaged and more knowledgeable on the Great Depression and the effects that it had on our country and internationally. So that is a brief overview of Hooverville. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.